What's up, everybody? I'm the Norm, and... J-Man does not appear to be with us at the moment. Oh, well, I'm sure he'll be here soon. Probably just stuck in traffic. Anyway, today's film is basically the Americanized version of Godzilla from Bad Robot, the production company founded by none other than Mr. Lens Flare himself, J.J. Abrams. It is, of course, the 2008 blockbuster film...
Sorry I'm late, bro. I just had a really big lunch. Big old burger with everything, some fries, some good old chicken wings, and a large Coke. It was amazing. I just hope we're not watching anything with too much shaky-cam or anything. So what's the movie?
Cloverfield.
You got a bucket, right?
Now, we know that the positivity for this film has diminished over the years, but when it first came out, it was a massive hit, and still has a loyal cult following to this day. But did it really deserve all the hype to begin with? Well, let's discuss it now. This is why we think this film is completely overrated.
Hello? You did turn the movie on, right?
Yeah, it should be going.
Oh, that is just the movie. I guess it was extending its own runtime by showing literally nothing.
Can't decide if that's lazy or clever.
I'm going with the former. So we open with a random apartment at 6 in the morning, and eventually see Beth, played by Odette Yesman. Yeah, filming a girl you just slept with in bed this early in the morning isn't creepy at all. She's being filmed by Rob, played by Michael Stahl-David.
Okay. What else?
What else what?
Other than cotton candy and tilt-a-whirls, what do you want to do today?
I answer that. Is this thing on?
Look out!
Babe, it's on my camera. I don't know if it's the...
Wait a minute. Didn't one of the very first screens of this movie say this was found on an SD card?
Yep.
Then why are we watching something that was taped over it as if it was on a videotape? In fact, why does it say it was a digital card at all when it's about 80 minutes long, which incidentally is the average length of a DV tape?
Maybe since it's supposedly owned by the Department of Defense, they transferred it to digital SD. But even so, why would they stitch it together in the order the movie is in? Do they just want the evidence of the monster to also have a storyline?
Is the Department of Defense occupied by OCD people? So, we're introduced to Rob's brother, Jason, played by Mike Vogel, and his girlfriend, Lily, played by Jessica Lucas.
I want you to go around with your brother's camera and get testimonials from everyone.
Why? It's not like this is a wedding.
This moment brought to you by Double Mint Gum, Jolly Rancher, and Nestle's Crunch. Yeah, you may have noticed that even for an 80-minute film, the product placement is just a tad excessive. We eventually cut to an apartment where we meet the film's token dumbass, Hud, played by T.J. Miller.
Good job. I'm good at
I
science.
see that, but this is more important than the sign. You know how, like, at weddings, people give testimonials to the camera, right?
No.
Please tell me he dies in this movie.
He does.
Thank God.
He's also the movie's cameraman.
What the f***?
So, Jason gives him the duty of documenting the party, and after a bunch of quick cuts that don't do anything except extend the movie's runtime, the party gets started and people start giving their testimonials. That is until Hud starts perving on his crush, Marlena, played by Lizzie Kaplan, who is arguably the best character in the whole movie. She's smart, proactive, and has some of the best lines.
Hey, Rob, Marlena. I think we've met like probably 3 times before total, and every one of those times I was really drunk, so I don't really even know what to say. But you have a cool job. That's something, like you're president of something.
Vice President!
Also really cool.
Eventually, Rob arrives and everyone surprises him. The party resumes and Hud continues to document. Even starts perving even more on some other girls like a fucking creep. Soon, Beth arrives with some company. And this is where things start to get a little weird.
I'm filming goodbyes for Rob. Do you want to say something?
I just want you to know how happy I am for you. Because I know how hard you've worked for this job, and I know how much it means to you, and I'm really gonna miss you.
Hey. Can I talk to you for a second?
Okay, let's talk about this whole Rob and Beth crap, which sadly is what drives the whole movie.
See, the movie tries to make it out that one side is wrong, but when you actually look at it, both sides are incredibly fucked up.
First, let's start with her. She was naked in bed with Rob 3.5 weeks ago, and now she shows up to his going away party with another dude? I'm sorry, that's kind of a dick thing to do, especially if you're still clearly in love with the guy. But instead, the movie tries to make Rob out to be the bad guy simply by the fact that he never called her. But that's not entirely fair. I mean, did she ever try to call him? Did he just neglect to respond? Like, we never really given enough information to make a fair judgment for ourselves. All we know is they haven't spoken for a while, and it's all apparently his fault, even though she could have done something about it too. A relationship works both ways, you know.
But he's not exactly off the hook himself. I guess his reasoning is that he just didn't want to get too close with her since he's leaving for Japan soon, which would have been understandable if he had communicated that to her in the first place. Instead, she just assumes he's no longer interested, and he gets all mopey when he sees her with someone else. You see, in film, it's very difficult to get invested in the conflict when the solution is so very obvious. Better communication. Works all the time.
Not to mention, their timing is just awful. He's apparently been in love with her since college, and now they choose to hook up? Right when he's about to leave for an important job in Japan? In any case, though, it's all completely Rob's fault, and he has to spend the whole movie trying to find her because, according to the movie, men have to take charge in a relationship.
So Lily secretly tells him that they slept together, and, like a fucking fourth grader, Hud goes around the entire party and tells everyone. Eventually, Beth decides to leave, and Lily convinces Jason and Hud to go talk to Rob.
But Beth told Lori that after you guys got together, you totally blew her off.
I didn't blow her off.
She said you never called her.
So I'm leaving, all right? So what am I supposed to do?
I don't know, man. She was heartbroken.
But there's no together. It's just her and me, two separate things.
So what the hell's the problem, then?
I got nothing.
It's about moments, man. That's all that matters. You gotta learn to say, forget the world and hang on to the people that you care about the most.
Well, now that we've just told you the moral of the whole story, let's get to the actual reason why we're here. Great, only took about 18 minutes. So they see a news report saying that an oil tanker has just capsized near the Statue of Liberty, and they decide to go to the roof for a better view.
They see a large explosion, and the flying debris apparently reaches them from miles away, and they run in a panic down to the street.
Did anybody see Jason? Did anybody see Jason?
So, did the monster rip off the head, drag it all the way across the Hudson, and just toss it somewhere on land?
The building collapses and they take shelter in a convenience store. After the camera is rendered unconscious for a few seconds, we go out to see everything looking hauntingly like 9/11.
After some commotion, they all eventually decide to leave the city. So they all start walking toward the Brooklyn Bridge. Thank you for telling us to keep doing what we're already doing!
We would have been lost without you! Jackasses. Eventually, Rob gets a call from Beth, and Jason gets separated from the group. Okay, I know this is meant to be an intense moment, but I can't help but laugh at how blandly Jason looks up. What?
Okay, that's something else that we should mention. Even in intense, life-threatening situations, Hud, for some reason, always turns to watch what's happening instead of, booking it the hell out of there like a normal person.
So after some intense running that tires even us out, we take some legit time to grieve over Jason's death. They soon enter an electronics store where Rob tries to find a battery for his phone, and we get more images of the monster.
Looks like there's something falling off of it, doesn't it?
Oh my god.
Got it?
Oh shit.
Can you hear us?
Well, I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight. You?
Nope.
Thanks, movie!
The others try to convince Rob to do the sensible thing and leave to get to safety, but he wants to listen to his voicemail from the girl he's not actually with.
I could have called anyone else, like a parent or a medic, but instead I called the one guy who I had a brief fling with and then totally blew me off tonight. Can you come help? So Rob decides he's not going to lose someone else he cares about and goes to find Beth. The others try to talk him out of it, but love conquers all, I guess, so he can't be convinced.
Bob, have you tried maybe calling 911, see if somebody else can get there?
I tried.
Okay, well, I mean, what about police, fire department?
Couldn't get through. I
Okay,
tried.
he just seems a little...
Oh, yeah, because they didn't hear an entire armored battalion right behind them the whole time.
And are they really shooting regular bullets at it? Wouldn't that be like shooting a BB gun at a giant turtle?
So they try to make a break for the subway. Upcoming money shot in 3, 2, 1. My gosh, stop turning to look like you know an audience is watching this. Just run. Not that hard.
They make it down into the subway where they decide to wait for things to cool down upstairs before they go anywhere else. Rob's mother calls, and he breaks his sad news about Jason.
I don't know what to say to him. You know? Like, I feel like I should say something, but I don't know what to say.
This soft moment brought to you by Nokia. Eventually, they all decide to walk through the dark train tunnels instead of, staying put where they're safe. And honestly, this is arguably the best scene in the whole movie. It's dark, creepy, and really suspenseful. They start talking about possible theories where the monster came from until they hear a deep rumble in the tunnel. It's then when things turn from what's going on to run for your life.
Okay, run. Hey, let's go running. Just run.
Admittedly, though, as enjoyable as the scene is, there is one tiny thing that kind of detracts from the enjoyment of it, and that is the sound effect those creatures make.
What the hell is that? You know what? Let's make a little game out of it. This is, what does this sound most like?
Does it sound like a Muppet having a seizure?
A turkey that's turned into a zombie?
Or Donald Duck having a temper tantrum?
The answer is...
Pick one. So Hud almost gets caught by one of them, but Marlena saves his life. She gets attacked by one, and they eventually find a door conveniently close by, and they escape.
They find a place to hold up and tend to Marlena's wound.
Hey, thanks for coming back and helping me out, you know?
What, you think that I'm the kind of person that wouldn't do that?
No, I know you aren't. I was just saying, I'm glad you did.
This tender moment brought to you by Mountain Dew. Eventually, they decide to go back upstairs and look for a way out. They find themselves in a shopping mall where they're picked up by some soldiers who escort them to a medical area where people are being treated.
What's up? Got another bite here.
Oh, look at that.
PG-13, you say?
Wow.
Rob tries to convince them that he needs to leave to find Beth, and they get into a little scuffle. And just like any other found footage movie, it immediately cuts to them just making up afterward.
Pacing? What's that?
You have no idea what's out there.
I don't care what's out there. Listen to me. She's dying.
There is nothing I can do about
that I love
now.
more than anything is dying, and it's my fault. She should have been with me tonight, and I let her go.
Look, I know the movie is trying to give him some kind of development by saying that he regrets his actions and that it's all his fault, but the problem is, it's almost immediately discredited by the simple fact that he's saying this all with the benefit of hindsight. I mean, he had no idea that a giant monster would be wreaking havoc all over the city, so the best and probably most mature thing he could do is just accept the fact that they both made their own choices and now they have to go their separate ways. Maybe even make sure that she will be found and taken care of, but until then, he needs to worry about his own safety because he must have loved ones who care about his well-being too.
But get ready, Marlena doesn't feel so good.
I don't feel so good.
Bart! We got
Yes, worry the victim even more by causing a panic.
Excuse me.
The soldier that found them tells them about a chopper they can use after they find Beth, and when it's leaving, and the whole place is going to be leveled pretty soon. They eventually get to Beth's apartment building, and admittedly, we do kind of like this bit of writing here.
I don't know, we just go inside and then see how high we can get.
I don't know if I can do that.
Well, maybe we could try going up the other building and then see if there's a place to cross over under a roof. And then we can find some way down to her place. Wait, no, never mind. No, that's a bad idea.
So they do just that, and they eventually make it up to Beth's place.
Oh yeah, of course she's still alive, even if impaled on a piece of rebar, otherwise this movie would have been totally pointless.
And unfortunately, this is some of the worst writing right here.
You came back for me.
You came back from me? What are you, a helpless damsel on the railroad tracks or something?
Look, not to be insensitive, but why are you so relieved that he came? I mean, when you last saw him, he basically told you to fuck off, remember?
So they very quickly lift her off the rebar, which is exactly what not to do in that situation because she'll just die even faster from internal hemorrhaging, and they get out of the building right when the creature ventures nearer towards them. Oh, hello, parasite that wasn't here before. They go Jack Torrance on the thing, and they eventually get out and start heading towards the chopper. And once again, in a frantic situation, HUD decides to turn and be a spectator again. My gosh, how are you not dead yet?
They take Lily first because the chopper can't fit the rest of them, and they wait for another one on the way.
Hey Beth, so how's Travis doing? Bad time? The chopper eventually comes and they get out safely. Later they watch the hammer down protocol and see the creature get bombed.
Oh, good. The monster is dead, which means the movie is over.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, all I can say is... The chopper eventually crashes and... Yes, thank you for reinforcing the idea that this movie is just an homage to King Kong.
They somehow survived that, and they drag Rob's injured body out of the rubble. They try to make a break for it when...
What? Oh! Oh no!
Hold on a second, weren't the others literally 5 feet away? How does it not see them too?
Also, how did it not see that giant thing the whole time?
HUD is eventually spit back out, because apparently douchebag don't taste that good, I guess, and somehow the camera still works. Where's the product placement for that thing?
Okay, that must be the end of the movie.
Finally. So, what are our overall thoughts? Is it really...
Oh, seriously? Why are they still filming right now? HUD was the only one who wanted to keep documenting everything. Are they doing it to honor his annoying habit or something? Plus, how much freaking battery power does that thing have? Enough to charge a third world country?
So after Blair Witching for a minute, Rob decides to film their last words. Okay, take 2. Rob decides to film their last words.
My name is Robert Hawkins. Approximately 7 hours ago, something attacked the city.
You do know that HUD has been filming literally all night, right? Do you really need to recap everything that's already been pretty well documented?
Not to mention, as an audience member, everything that we literally just watched. Hello?
So the place is blown up, and they profess their feelings. We then get our last bit of film on the tape.
I know what I'm talking about. Come on. Yeah, all right. All right, we're almost out of tape. We got like 3 seconds left. What do you want to say? What do you want to say? Last thing to the king.
I had a good day.
I'm totally gonna ditch him if he doesn't call me back. And that was the end of Cloverfield. How was it?
Admittedly, there are some things to like about it. The suspenseful scenes are pretty gripping, the whole concept is pretty creative, and we like that it doesn't give all the answers to what's happening and leaves it open enough for us to speculate. But sadly, it still plays out like a typical found footage horror film.
The characters make bad decisions that lead to their own demise, the main plot is frustratingly contrived, and the whole found footage gimmick really only works in smaller doses. Maybe if they could have used a regular camera for most of it and then occasionally cut back to the POV shot, it could have been more enjoyable and frankly, even bearable. But as it is, it's used to nauseating effect, and I just don't enjoy movies that make me dizzy and physically sick. So say it with us, guys, this movie is definitely overrated. But why is this movie so overrated?
Well, let me ask you this. What made the Blair Witch Project so popular?
Easy, it's advertising campaign.
Exactly. The advertising for this movie didn't make people believe that this was a real event that transpired, obviously, but it had a certain mystery to it that kinda hooked people in. In fact, the very first trailer for this film was basically a no-name trailer. They just showed a bunch of footage, some of which was filmed specifically for the trailer, and showed J.J. Abrams' name. No release date, no nothing. It had the internet buzzing. Now, it definitely could have been other factors like the action and suspense and even the monster itself. But we feel like if it wasn't for the advertising, this movie would have been seen as just another found footage film, just on a bigger scale. So more than anything, it's the anticipation that made the movie more popular, even well after its release. And we personally think that a movie should be judged after it is viewed, and not before.
So that was our take on The Field of Clover. Any other well-advertised movies that we should review? Please let us know in the comments below.
Till then, popularity does not make a movie good. Reviews don't make a movie good. And even box office numbers don't make a movie good. Only you can decide what makes a movie good.
Till next time, we're the Underraters.